The first thing that comes into my mind whenever I think about conversation activity lesson plan is the class circumstances. There are a set of concepts that we must develop right before plunging ourselves into the world of planning conversation activities. The number of students, for instance, the educational backgrounds of the students, the objective of the classes, these are major concerns that any instructor should have in mind before planning the conversation activities. I am currently working in Parsian Institute, which is an international official institute for IELTS tests, and we have three sorts of assessment for our IELTS speaking workshops. The first one is diagnostic assessments. This means basically students who wish to join us should either have passed an IELTS test with a score 5 and above, or sit with an examiner in a placement test and satisfy the latter in order to be admitted to join our IELTS speaking workshops. The aiming score normally differs according to the student's purpose of their studies. For example, in case the students are interested in studying a general module, basically most of our students under this module are going to emigrate. So they want to go to Canada under a skilled worker program, and in order to do so, a CLB 9 is ideal, which is equal to a band score 7 in speaking. When it comes to studies abroad, students normally have to illustrate a band score 6 and plus in order to get their university admission. There are, however, some prestigious universities and educational centers where students are required to illustrate a competency equal to 7. Regarding the formative assessment, it is about how we try to give feedback to our students. We do not interrupt the students' performance. We normally try to ask questions, and the students are supposed to answer. We wait for them to finish, and once they have finished, we try to give them feedback according to their, let's say, performance. Summative assessment is normally done in form of checking the students' assignments. They have to send their homework in form of recorded voices for their task 2 IELTS Q cards. They have to send it to the correctional department of Parson Institute. And of course, in this department, we have a group of expert official IELTS examiners who try to give constructive feedback to students in order to improve their performance. When it comes to class circumstances, we do not require more than 4 students. We try not to accept more than 4 students in each class, basically because we expect our students to have full time to perform at least one actual IELTS speaking test in each session. So classes in Iran are no longer than 90 minutes. And of course, since part 1 and 3, which are actual conversations in IELTS between the examiner and the test taker, it is going to take about 15 minutes. So students need 15 minutes each in order to perform a complete IELTS speaking test. And of course, with 4 students, it remains about 30 minutes, which will be the time granted to the instructor in order to leave comments and give feedback to the students and try to improve their speaking score. The students' prior knowledge, I think our students are quite competent in this level. They have passed an actual placement test, or they have proved their, let's say, general English competency by proving an IELTS score band 5 and above, and therefore they should have a decent general English knowledge. There is a third option apart from actually participating in an IELTS test, or let's say having a placement test. Students who have studied in our institute, we have Top Notch and Touchstone series. They will be transferred into our IELTS classes once they have finished all their general English studies in those books. About our students' cultural background, most people are from Iran, so basically Iranian people. There are some people who are, let's say, immigrants. Religion of most students who participate in Parsian IELTS speaking workshops are Islam and Shia, so basically they are Muslims and Shiites, with an exception for Armenians. But of course, these are not big issues because neither people's accent are considered when they are going to be assessed for their speaking test, nor their, let's say, belief, their ideas, or the political views are going to be questioned in actual IELTS tests. About teaching aids, we have a huge load of YouTube videos and podcasts that we ask our students to watch before participating in the class. We have some worksheets that will be covered at the beginning of each class. We will ask the students to, let's say, define some concepts or give some examples. For instance, when it comes to giving different examples for university degrees, we will ask the students to say associate degree, bachelor, master, PhD, postdoctoral degree, etc. When it comes to give definitions, when we ask our students to define, for instance, educational leave, the students should talk about the option that some employees have to leave their workplace in order to be present in a class at university. So basically, these are the teaching aids we try to use in our classes. Instruction methodology, basically, I'm not sure if it could be called a methodology, but notional functional syllabus is exactly in line with IELTS speaking terminal objectives. We have a set of, let's say, topics. We see many students being asked in their actual IELTS speaking tests, for example, education. So there are a set of notions, and we are going to cover one notion in each conversation activity plan. And of course, for each notion, we have a set of useful expressions. For example, how to express regret in case of a dropout, or how to express a wish if there was a future major change. So we will try to cover these notions, and for each notion we will have a set of useful expressions that we will teach our students to use as much as possible in order to express themselves in IELTS speaking sessions. The second concept is learner-centered. We try to have a focus on students and their classes, because each student has their own weaknesses and strong points. If we are going to them feedback, the feedback should be personalized for each student. Furthermore, we try to ask students, for instance, about the next topic for their next session, provided that they choose from a list of priorities. Because if we do not give the students a set of selected topics in advance, they are going to choose notions which are not really prevalent in actual IELTS tests. So that's it. I hope that will be quite enlightening. In the next videos, I will start my first conversation activity plan, which will be about education.